USAA knows dynamic duos can save the day, like superheroes and sidekicks or auto and home insurance. With USAA, you can bundle your auto and home and save up to 10%. Learn more and get a quote at usaa.com/bundle. Restrictions apply.
The First Lady of New York Radio, Joan Hamburg. Entertaining and informative. Talk Radio 77 WABC.
Welcome, everyone, to the Joan Hamburg Show. And this holiday, we have a special reason to celebrate. We have a fairly new show at the Stephen Sondheim and Juliet. It's got a wonderful star, Lorna Courtney, and it's a wonderful show. How often do you come out of theater these days and feel so good and celebrate and hum songs? I love that. And I said this is going to be, I hope, a great holiday for Lorna Courtney, who's a wonderful actress, entertainer. Congratulations to you. You must have been so excited when that show opened and everyone went crazy.
Yes, I was so excited and also very nervous at first when it opened, just the anticipation and who might be in the audience. But I calmed down and I realized that I'm here with every single person that's a part of this production and we're all in it together.
And it's a huge part, and you're really young and started getting big work almost immediately. But what happened here? Did an agent call you? Did you read about it? How did you first know that this was coming to town?
Right. So I was auditioning for another big show, Jagged Little Pill, and it was the same producer, Eva, and the same casting director, Stephen Copel Casting. I didn't end up getting Jagged Little Pill, the replacement for Frankie, but about a week and a half later, I got this script from the same casting director, and I read the script with my best friend and her mom, and we were laughing, and I was so touched and moved that I cried. It was so meaningful for me, and to be able to audition for Juliet. Everyone knows Romeo and Juliet, but we don't know this version. So to bring this version to the stage, this 21st century version where Juliet has a voice, finds a second chance at life without Romeo, and really discovers her own. And of course, like you said, the show is so much fun. The choreography by Jen Weber is all hip hop, music, dance, like video choreography, and the songs for Max Martin on songs you hear on the radio. And it's just a joyous, joyous time. David West Reed's writing is smart and witty. People laugh. I see in the audience little kids from age 6 all the way up to very grown adults, and everyone has a wonderful time.
Right. And it's got, even though you're happy and laughing and you're humming, it's got issues that are really important. I mean, like, who am I? And I have to be me no matter what, and giving kids and everyone courage to go grab what is them and their lives. So it was really very special. So when you got it and you auditioned for it, did you know right away, or did they make you, like so many actors, go through every kind of thing that you had to go through?
I know, and I've been through it. Luckily, with this audition, I was the only person that they saw, at least that day, for I just had an initial in-person audition, and then a final callback a week later, and Betsy was also there for Anne Hathaway, and we were the only people that they were seeing for those roles. And then a couple of days later, we got the call from our agents. Well, actually, I was working at a gym at Equinox, and Stephen Copel, the casting director, happened to work out at that gym, and I see him like after my audition, and he just looks at me and he smiles and he's like, "Nope, I'm not going to tell you. I'll wait until your agent."
Oh, you're
manager.
kidding. Now, were you a client of the gym or you were an instructor?
I was working at the front desk.
Oh,
I was working at the
life
front desk.
is funny, right? So,
Life is funny. And so then a few days after that, I had to wait, and my agent and manager called, and I took the phone, put it on speaker, took it into the office, and all of my my peers, we were all just like screaming, jumping up and down with joy.
well, who wouldn't jump up and down with joy? And that's really a thrill. When did you get out? You just graduated from college, like what, a year ago?
Well, that's funny you say that. I was supposed to graduate May of 2020. I actually graduated a year early in May of 2019. So I was supposed to graduate in the middle, or the beginning of the pandemic. But thankfully, I took all the courses I needed to take, the academic courses during the summers, and I got out early. I started auditioning for things. The day of my showcase, I got a call from Dear Evan Hansen that I got the standby for Lorna and Zoe. And I was also auditioning for Maria at the time for West Side Story, and I ended up getting the Maria understudy and Rosalia in the ensemble. So I did that before the shutdown happened.
Right. And could you believe when they called you and offered you the lead of this? I mean, a major show with a major lead.
I know. It's like when you have a feeling. When we wrote the script, my best friend's mom said, "Lorna, you have to get this." And she did it. And at first I felt pressured, but then I was like,
scared, probably.
Actually, it makes sense. It just feels right. Like you just feel very in tune with the character and all of the songs, the storytelling. It really is a story that I'm still going through. So every day I'm learning and I'm growing. I'm learning more about myself and encouraging myself as a person too.
To go for it, right?
To go for it and to continue to not be afraid to put myself first, and the sky's the limit. I think that's really what it's about.
Right, and if you can make yourself believe that, which you did, but I was interested in reading some of the background, because a lot of people who don't live in the city or the surrounding areas don't understand that it's not just, you can't just go to high school for a lot of kids. Like you wanted to go to an art and entertainment high school.
Right.
And like LaGuardia and schools like that, but you have to audition for those schools.
You do. You have to audition. And so prior to that, I did SIOP, which is a free summer arts institute program here in New York City. And I studied voice. I was also a part of the Gospel for Teens program with Vi Higginson.
Yeah, that's a great program.
And it prepared me. It prepared me for those auditions for high school. I actually auditioned for art too as a backup. Didn't get in, but I still love art.
Right. And now you can love it even more because you can view it in different ways. So people don't get the auditions are really hard, but even in grade school, did you know you had that voice and that gift, or it was just something that you've done since you were a kid?
From the time, at least, I was very, very shy as a kid, but from 5th grade onward, one of the choir director picked out my voice in the choir and started working with me individually. And in choir, I sung solos and things like that. So ever since then, I knew that I wanted to do music. And from 7th grade, I knew I had to go to LaGuardia High School for voice.
And you got in.
Yeah, and I got in, and we studied opera at LaGuardia. So
Did you know that opera, Lorna, was going to be it? I'm sure you thought, like I thought, that when I read that you got into LaGuardia, that's a lot of song and a lot of dance and a lot of, what we think, but you said it was opera.
I know. It was opera. So, which was surprising to me, too, going into it. I knew nothing about opera, but I'm really glad I had that classical foundation for training. And by the end, because I was introduced to musical theater through my gospel choir initially, I performed with Mom, I Want to Sing my sophomore year, and we toured in Japan for a month.
Wow.
And so it piqued my interest doing musical theater and seeing how engaged the audiences were and how they really enjoyed it. And then my junior year, I got to play Nina and In the Heights. And my senior year, I was Belle in Beauty and the Beast. And that's how I knew that musical theater, I felt my voice fit in, not necessarily fit in better, but there's more variety in the voice with musical theater, I felt.
Right.
So, and also one of the people whom I look up to the most, Audra McDonald, she also came from a classical background, and she does it all. So,
yes, she does it all. I remember when she came out of school and I had her as a guest. I forget what she had gotten some part, and she was just out of school. And she really did do it all. I'm talking to Lorna Courtney, who's starring in & Juliet, and a big success in New York. Do you think LaGuardia changed the course of what has happened to you?
Definitely. I find that, and I get emotional when I talk about this, because where I'm from in South Ozone Park, Queens,
right.
Education, where you go to, it really does change, and the course of your destiny is sort of aligned with where you go to school. And so for us at my school, which happened to be a K-8 school, there was 3 of us that got into LaGuardia High School, 2 for voice, one of whom I'm still best friends with to this day. And it was sort of like an escape, and we got to go to Manhattan to go to
big
school.
Time.
It took us an hour and a half to get to school every day, and I had to take a bus and 3 trains, but I got there. And there were some people that had to take a boat because they lived in Staten Island. But
yes.
it changed everything. It was unlike any other high school experience, and it was surrounded by people who loved the arts. This is what they wanted to do. And so we would make music in the hallways. We would be a part of the school musicals, and people were so talented. And I'm still friends with people who I went to high school with to this day. And I see them, and we're in the same shows together. I was with Deron Jones in West Side Story, and we were in the same graduating class, and also in the Heights and Beauty and the Beast together.
Wow.
Yeah, it really, I don't know where I would be or what I would be doing if I didn't go to LaGuardia, if that makes sense.
You were unusual because you knew early on what your path was going to be, or you were going to try to follow that path from LaGuardia, and that made a big difference. And because you went there, you did things you might not have done, like understand music, really read music, and a lot of things that were not part of a school's curriculum.
And makes the dream more of a reality, because a lot of people from New York, and even where I'm from in Queens, they might have a love for the arts, but because of where they're from or where their parents are from, they don't see that can become, something that it can be, you can make a living from it. So going to LaGuardia, it turned that into reality, because you really are. It's a pre-conservatory. So you're studying that art form very seriously. And we had class from 8 o'clock to 4:09.
A lot.
Yes. We had our regular academic courses, and we had 4 classes within our major every day.
So what made you go to college, or did you take time off after you got out of high school? What was that trip like?
I auditioned for many different musical theater programs because I had no clue what, they were looking
could do.
for.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And I got into everyone except Carnegie, and the ones that I decided that were the ones that I got offered a full financial aid for was for NYU, Baldwin Wallace, and the University of Michigan. And I chose Michigan because I wanted to have a different experience. I'm already from New York City.
Right.
I wanted to, and as an actor, it's good for you to know like what life is like outside.
Right. It isn't all New York and Queens. It's the Midwest.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Exactly.
football games on the weekend.
That was definitely like culture shock for me. I was like, whoa, this is a college town. And
It
was
is.
such a town to me because people knew your name at the shops that you went to on the regular. It was a really, really, and it felt so warm and inviting, that program. There was only 23 of us in our graduating class, so we really got
It's really small.
right individual attention that we needed. The teachers were all amazing and so supportive. I also have family there. I have an aunt and uncle that live in Ann Arbor, Michigan. So that's why my mom let me go.
Right. No, because it's far for, a mom from this area. That's like the end of the world in a way. Michigan is so far. But it isn't, but it's just their perception.
I know.
So Michigan was good for you. They had a good program?
Yes, an excellent program and a nurturing environment, one that wasn't, because I knew that I wouldn't do well in a highly competitive learning environment. So because being from New York, everything is already so fast paced. I wanted somewhere where I could feel safe and be able to learn and grow from that environment. But it's still, of course, with anything, you have to audition for the school's musicals, and you have to, so there still is a competitive aspect, but everyone in my class was so nice, so warm. And we still have a group chat on Facebook that we all talk to each other.
Which is good. And they all wanted what you want or understood it. So you could feel at home.
Yeah. 2 of our other, of the other graduates from my class, are on in a show on Broadway, Kimberly Akimbo, with me. Us
That's
Michigan
exciting.
Folks, we're really working.
No, which is a great gift in this crazy business. So after school, what did you do, Lorna? Did you settle in New York City, and the auditioning was the serious part of life?
Mm-hmm. So during our spring break, most people of my senior year, most people would go on vacation.
Right.
But I went home and I started auditioning for things. I got up at 5 o'clock in the morning to, put my name on the non-equity list when we had those person auditions, which I believe are coming back now. And soon more and more casting directors saw me. Then they started reaching out to me and sending me auditions. And I told them, I have to go back to Michigan to continue, to finish school. And then I just sent in self-tapes. I rented out a camera from our school's library and paid a student musician to accompany me. And I sent in self-tapes. And one of them landed. That was Dear Evan Hansen. I got the call of my showcase.
Unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable. And then you got the part.
And I got the part. It has been such a blessing, but I know that like everything I do, I constantly work like on myself and my abilities. And even now, like when things calm down, I'll take an on-camera class or an acting class, or Yeah.
No, that's where a lot of your contacts come through too, from
Right?
those classes and those teachers that are often called if they know someone. So it's really a great thing. And everything that happened, like you say in one interview I read, that when it started and you even were applying to LaGuardia, you didn't want to audition for drama because you felt you couldn't do it. You were scared, and maybe it was too much for you. So that's why you went for voice.
Right. I've really grown a lot in my confidence. I will say that, but it still is a work in process. So but yeah, I came from being a really, really shy, really reserved person. And now I am a woman who has grown into her own.
And who's a leading lady on Broadway.
And who is a leading lady which is amazing, and to say at the age of 24, it's such a blessing, and I'm so honored, and what a show to be a part of too.
Yeah, unbelievable. And it took Broadway by storm. It was just what we all needed after the miserable pandemic and all the depressing things. Even New York City sort of lost its charm for a while, and it's back.
It's back. We're here. We're at the Sondheim Theater, 8 shows a week.
There you go. Are you, do you remember opening night? Did you have the anxiety? Your family was there, your friends?
I did. I had anxiety, which was so weird and strange because we did it in Toronto for 2.5 months before coming to New York. And then, we had shows before opening night. We had previews, but there's just something about opening night. Then at the party, when the reviews came out,
you were going crazy.
Yeah, I saw what Jesse said.
Jesse Green from the Times.
Right. Lorna's Blow You Away performance. And I was like, it was such a sigh of relief. I was like, oh, that made my night. I can relax.
Now you could go eat all the hors d'oeuvres and breathe. No, because it's a thrill, and you're working to packed houses too in a Broadway that has been shaky since the pandemic.
And I looked out at the audience Tuesday, which I didn't expect there to be a full house, and it was full. And I felt just so grateful because I know so many shows right now are
struggling.
Exactly. And I have friends in those shows. So.
All right. So this is a really happy, exciting time. Does your family do a big holiday now?
Yes. So luckily, I have Christmas Day off.
Oh, good.
Yeah. I'm going to go up to stay. My mom and dad moved to Connecticut with my sister. So I'm going to go up to Connecticut with them, and I'm at my best friends, and we're celebrating Hanukkah now. So
perfect. Perfect. Yeah. Is your sister, does she have the voice?
She does. She does have the voice. And I'm hoping one day that, because she's my younger sister and she didn't want to follow into, Lorna's footsteps, I hope that she uses her gift too. Because she's a coloratura, in fact. She can hit notes like you've never heard before. So,
really? Who sings? Does your mom or relatives have that voice?
My mom has a really nice voice, and my dad too, and he plays the guitar, but they're not. Yeah, but they met in New York Military Academy in upstate New York, and they were both in choir together. So
there it is. Well, we're so happy for you. This is going to be a great new year. Congratulations. And for all of you who haven't seen it yet, you are in for a big treat. And Juliet playing at the Stephen Sondheim Theater. Have a wonderful holiday, a great new year, and I look forward to seeing you very soon. Take care, Lorna.
Take care. Happy holidays. And thank you so much, Joan.
A pleasure, honey. I really enjoyed it. It made me happy. And that's one of the gifts of theater. So go take advantage.
Yay.
Lorna Courtney. Okay. All the best to you and your family.
Likewise.
The First Lady of New York Radio, Joan Hamburg. Entertaining and informative. Talk Radio 77 WABC.